Welcome coaches, welcome athletes. I want to introduce my applied coaching project from the Leeds-Beckett University to you. It was about how can marathon training plans for groups be adapted to meet individual goals. And as many of you know, because you have been participating to the survey and to my study, that the result was an adaptive group coaching model. I have already introduced this to you, but you can see it on the left side here on the screen. It was about the problems or the benefits we have on the one side with group training. So we have like shared week plans from coaching perspective. We have like the different session objectives for the individual athletes. We have, of course, the biggest benefit with group training. We have the group cohesion. And then we have two different layers over there. And in the end, we have the third layer. But first, I want to say something about the individual. And I called it the individualization layer. And there we have of course, if we have the training plan, we have different personal paces. We have different volume. We have the recovery strategies because it's very depending on stress levels with family, with work, with everything else you have to do around running. And then we have the adaptive load, of course. And on the other side, for coaches, it's very important to have the monitoring and the personal feedback. So here I just summarized a little bit. We have the RPE tracking, so the session-based RPEs, which is the rate of perceived effort, which is normally on a scale from 8 to 20. Then we have the heart rate or the heart rate variability. And then, of course, we have the communication directly between the athlete and the coach. And I want to introduce today something on TrainingPeaks, because on the results of the survey, I could evaluate that an IT platform is very crucial for us as coaches and also for the athletes to have everything that I have just proposed. And therefore, we need to have the synchronization between the system on athletes' side and coaches' side. We need to have data integration from our Garmin watches or Polar watches or Apple watches or whatever. And then it's always good to have also a tool for communication, because the words spoken are very useful and indeed they are the most important thing, but it's also very good to have something like races, very specific quality sessions, or something else for everything you want to write down. We have it written on one single, I always call it the single truth, or the point of single truth. So everyone knows, the coach and the athlete, where it's written down. So it's a place for communication. And today I want to show you something inside of TrainingPeaks. And you will see over here, I have created a version of a 16-week marathon plan. And when we go step by step through the plan, you will see what is the target, what is the idea behind it, and why it's so useful to have it for every single athlete, but also for the whole group. Because now we see the static plan. A static plan means we have it, so the plan, we have it only on a time, it's not time related. So we will see here week 1, day 1. So this can mean January 1st, or this can mean tomorrow, July 7th. Therefore, we can apply it once again to the different marathon seasons, for example, spring and fall season. And also we can extend it. So if you want to have it 20 days, or if you want to have it 12 days. So I had used my normal procedure for 16 weeks. And then I did a different structure. So when we zoom in a little bit, we have here week 1, like I said, and I separated for the whole plan that on Monday we have an aerobic day, which is normally with a normal aerobic base run. We will then have some strength training, and in the afternoon we will have in this week 1 hour of alternative training. On the next day we will have a recovery day, which is only a single run with around 10k, and then some running coordination, which is called in German the Lauf ABC, which means like drills and everything. And afterwards we will have the first quality session on Wednesday with 400-meter intervals to increase with the purpose of VO2 max. And afterwards in the afternoon we will have strength training for maximum strength. Next day you will see again we have aerobic, then recovery, and then long run and aerobic day again. And from my perspective, it's very useful to have this structure also proposed to the athletes. So this is like, these are notes you will see from every single week again. So on week 2, you will see, okay, which is, for example, Wednesday was quality session. On Saturday, we will have the long run. And here you will have different sessions applied to the different weeks, because we want to increase, we want to have a progression, and this is for semi-ambitious athletes. So we start with around 100k in the first week, go up to 102, 105, and I think the maximum peak weeks are around 120, 123 we'll have, or 130, 132. So, and then we will decrease from 133. Once again, we will decrease, of course, for tapering for the marathon race day, which is at the end of the training plan. But have a look, let's have a look together inside one of the specific sessions, because this is like a normal plan. It's normally, if you have a look, okay, we will have 12k on Monday, we will have some strength training and alternative. But if we have a look, for example, on the Wednesday, we will have the VO2 max intervals 400 meters. And inside here, I used a catalog which I have created with a different purpose, like VO2 max, with the threshold, or with long runs, or aerobic base and whatever. And then inside this, I added some descriptions. So what is the content of the interval training? What is the comments we need to have for the athletes? And then you will see it already over here for the workout details, but you see it also when you go with the cursor on the introduction for the session itself, for the warm-up and for the cool-down at the end. But you will have the most important thing for the intervals. And my training plan is based on one very important parameter. It's called the threshold pace. You can have it inserted for the different athletes. So you will have athlete, I call him Benjamin. Maybe his threshold pace will be roughly 3 minutes 20 per kilometer. Then you have the next athlete, maybe Jacob. He will have a threshold from 3 minutes 30 minutes per kilometer. And maybe then you have the next athlete, maybe Julia, who has a threshold of 3 minutes 50 per kilometer. So normally you will have this written down in your training plan. You will send it to the athletes, and they will need to calculate individually their paces, their times for the 400-meter intervals, and for the breaks and everything. So you will see here it's based on percents. But now I'm going to use this training plan and apply it to one of my athletes. I will call him Benjamin. I will select him, Benjamin, apply it. I will say I want to start this. I will apply it to the athlete, and then you will see something. When we change again from the static plan, we are going to change to the athlete's calendar, and then you will see that we will have all the sessions applied to his training plan. 16 weeks, which would mean in the end he would race a marathon on 25th of October. And then you can, of course, make an individualization, call it, for example, the Chicago Marathon or the New York City Marathon, or whatever marathon is the target of the plan. And we go back for today, and then you will see over here that we will have the quality session, what I call the VO2 max intervals for 400 meters. Once again, we will have the same title, we will have the same description, we will have the same pre-activity comments, but like I said, it will be applied from the general approach to the athlete itself. So the threshold, what I said for Benjamin, was 3 minutes 20, which means for the warm-up, the target is 4 minutes 10 to 4 minutes 30. And then the intervals will be more specific and more interesting. It will be like a pace of 3 minutes, roughly to 3 minutes 10, and have a break of 200 meters, 4 minutes 30 to 4 minutes 46. What is more interesting is that this training regime will be also synchronized with his Garmin watch. So for example, if I just make a synchronization to my watch, I can start the workout and it will tell me today that the next workout will be 400-meter intervals, and then you can use this directly from the watch itself. So we will have data integrity, we will have communication between the devices, and it's very easy for the athletes to have a look afterwards how the workout went. And because this is a plan for the future, I want to show you something where you can see what has been done when an athlete has performed a workout, because this is very interesting as well. And I want to show you an athlete from myself who is called Jacob, and we will have a look over here. Give me a second. For example, when I had an aerobic base run for him, and I planned 16K with a pace of 4 minutes 13. Okay, he just was slightly slower, maybe because it was very early in the morning, but I will have all the data available. So it will be compared between planned and completed, and it's also available for the athlete. And then, for example, if we have a look, and I remember he had a tough workout on Saturday. Give me a second. It was not that one. Ah, here. We can have it here. I was a little too fast. Yeah, we will have it here. It was after the first quality session in the morning. He had to do 3 times of 2K reps at threshold with a short break of 400 meters. And then we can see the overall data here. But we can also have a look on the we go to analyze, and then we can check it over here with no data available. Okay, that's a pity. So give me a second where I have a better idea how to run. Maybe I'll use another athlete, because here we can use Melina, and you will see some of her workouts, which is I wanted to show you. I know someone who's because you need to be very specific about the start, and you see over here for athlete Christian, it's very green, everything. And now if we go back to the intervals on last Wednesday, it was like VO2 max, like 10 times 1K rep with 400 meters rest in between, and then we can make the analyze. And we will see over here how were the intervals. And once again, we have a short problem. Give me a second. Maybe because I'm recording, we are not able to see it just here. But normally, yeah, we can have a look at this. You will see, you can compare it. So you will have here the paces, but I'm not happy with the athlete over here. Give me a second. This is better. I know Mareike is also with a VO2 max tempo variation one. We will check it. And now we have all the data we need. So we go here for minutes, and you see here directly. So the blue in the background is the target, and you see the current pace is the variation. And you will see, okay, she was going for a little progression over here. She was going a little progression and then digression. And then we see, okay, the last intervals were quite hard for her, but she was able to keep the pace. And here you will have the different laps. So you can see what she has been performed on the different laps. So you can check, okay, for example, when we check this one, you will have the marked or the highlighted intervals at the top. And this is quite helpful for the coaches. And you see what I have been just done, that in the end, it's about data, and then it's also how to interpret them. Because when I checked for different athletes, I was not able to find it directly, because sometimes it's not available, because maybe they had like 2 or 3 sessions for the have like started with a watch. So this is like also very very important to understand, that we need to see how the athletes are going to react to the program. But in the end, what is quite helpful is to see how the athletes are going to develop themselves, and how different approaches from the idea what you have been in mind for the coaching project have been realized. And therefore, I think from my perspective, it's very helpful to have in-depth review of the athletes and to check whether they have been able to perform the intervals as planned. And therefore, this was a small and short introduction for you, but I think when you start working with an IT tool, which is very has a high level of connectivity and data integration, you will be very satisfied to use it for your own purpose and to improve the performance of your athletes. And I hope this was the first introduction for this. And as you have seen, I was improvising a little bit, and this is how it works for coaches as well. You need to adapt, you need to see what's going on, and it was a pleasure to have you here, and I hope for you the best.